Hey folks, welcome back to the channel. In this video I'm going to give you a high level overview of the Nikon D750 camera, which has become my go-to camera for the last few years now. Let's get stuck in. Hey guys, Elton here. Welcome back to the channel. So today I want to talk about one of the most popular and versatile camera bodies on the market, the Nikon D750. As a professional photographer, I've had the chance to use many different cameras over the years, but the Nikon D750 always stands out for me. It's a full frame camera that has been on the market for a few years now and has proved to be one of the most popular models for photographers of all levels, from amateur to professional. Let's start with the design. The D750 has a sturdy yet lightweight body that feels comfortable in the hand. I've had friends who are Canon users, and for me, for my personal preference, the Canon didn't fit my hand very well. It felt a bit, how do I say this nicely, plasticky and light, whereas the Nikon, and especially this D750, fits my hand very well. You can see on the side here where I would hold it, it's nicely contoured so that my hand fits nicely around that section there, and it's just a very comfortable grip. And whilst it is lightweight, it does have a bit of weight behind it that makes it feel like a stronger, more sturdy, solidly built unit. It has a good balance of buttons and controls, making it easy to use even if you're coming from a different camera brand. So as you can see, the dials here, simple ones for switching between video mode, camera mode. You have some dials down the side for the flash, bracketing, autofocus or manual focus, and then down the back on the top dial you have various settings for manual, aperture, shutter speed, and then you also have scene modes where you can choose between different kinds of scenes that are built into the system. And then obviously you have auto mode, and then you have some other dials here for things like continuous shooting and this kind of things, which I won't go into too much detail about on this particular video. If you do want any more specifics or anything specific about the camera and its functions, please do comment below and I'll try and answer them for you in a different video. I didn't want to go into too much technical detail in this particular video. This is more just a kind of high level overview of the camera itself. One of the standout features of the D750 is its 24.3 megapixel full frame CMOS sensor. The sensor provides stunning image quality and rich detail and accurate color representation. Whether you're shooting portraits, landscapes or anything in between, you'll be impressed with the sharpness and detail in your images, and I truly can say that I've been really pleased with this camera. I've had it now for a good 4 years probably now. You can see it's had its wear and tear. It's lost this little side protective cover there where the D750 logo would actually be. I don't know where I lost that, somewhere out in the field, and could not find it. So yeah, it's had its ups and downs, and as I mentioned in a previous video, I actually dropped this camera with this particular lens, which is the 24 to 120 millimeter lens, from hip height onto a concrete floor, and it survived. Both the lens and the camera survived, and no issues whatsoever. So as I say, it is a strong, sturdy camera and is really loved by wedding photographers and people like that who take a lot of photographs and need something that's reliable. The Nikon D750 also has an excellent low light performance thanks to its high ISO range that extends up to 12,800, which can be further expanded to an incredible 51,200. This makes it a great option for shooting in challenging lighting conditions such as dimly lit restaurants or concerts, or, as I say, weddings. Another great feature of the D750 is its autofocus system. It has 51 autofocus points You can change that to lower autofocus points, but as I say, it has up to 51 focus points, which cover a wide area of the frame, and the 3D tracking makes it incredibly accurate, making it easy to keep your subjects in focus even when they're moving. So if you're photographing pets or anything that's on the move, the 3D tracking system really does help to keep your photos in focus. It also has built-in Wi-Fi, which allows you to easily transfer your images to your smartphone or tablet. You can also use the Nikon SnapBridge app to remotely control the camera, which is quite useful if you're doing selfies and group photos of yourself or family portraits of yourself that you want to include yourself in. It has a burst mode of 6.5 images per second, and which is pretty useful again if you're shooting something that's on the move. The file format is NEF or NAF, which is the raw format for Nikon cameras, at either 12 or 14-bit. It also does JPEG, or you can do a combination of RAW and JPEG together, which is useful if you want to quickly share images and you don't have to worry about converting your RAW to JPEG. You already have the JPEG version easily accessible to you. It has 2 SD slots, which you can see here underneath the strap. So I don't know how much you can see there, but there's 2 SD slots there. So you can either use the second slot as an overflow. So if you're looking to do a lot of photography on a day, for example, a wedding or an event, you can have a second SD card in there. But to be fair, that's, you know, with the fact that you get 128 gig of SD cards these days, it's very unlikely that you're going to ever fill up such a SD card in one day. Or you could use that second slot as a backup. So basically it replicates what's on the first card onto the second card, so that should either of the cards fail, you have the backup, which again, one of the reasons why this camera is so popular with wedding photographers and people who are doing events or such, where you can't simply get the people back and redo the shoot if an SD card fails. It's compatible with AF autofocus Nikon lenses, including type G, E and D. Now you can see the one that's on here at the moment is a Nikon 24 4G lens. It does take some of these, so remember this is a full frame camera, so if you use a lens that is a DX or cropped lens, then you're not going to take full advantage of the full frame body here. So, you know, do check out your lenses, make sure you're getting lenses that are full frame compatible. The D750 is also capable of shooting full HD 1080p video at 60 frames per second, making it a great option for photographers who want to branch out into videography also. The built-in microphone and headphone jacks make it easy to record high quality audio, and the camera's autofocus system works well for video, making it easy to keep your subjects in focus. So I'm just going to go through a few of the items and connections here for you. So I've already shown you the SD slot there. On the back you've got your dials, your live view, so if you wanted to, shall we turn it on first, shall we? So I don't currently have a card in there, as you can see. Clear display up here of your settings currently. So if we wanted to go into live view mode, we're on photographs at the moment. Simply click on you've also got this auto level feature. I'll take the lens cap off now. This is pretty much a rookie mistake. Yeah, let's not do that in the open, wild open. So you can see currently I've got an auto level thing there, so it will tell me when my image is in level. Useful if you're out there taking landscapes. One of the common issues I see with landscape photography is the people not getting a horizontal horizon. Down here you've got your settings. I'm currently shutter speed at 1/100 and f4, and my ISO is down on L1.0. which is lower than ISO 100. Some cameras don't allow you to go lower than ISO 100. This one actually does allow you to go a few steps lower than that, which again is great if you're in very bright conditions. And then similarly, if you want to do video mode, you would just flick over to the video here on live view, and then you would hit the record button up here. One of the drawbacks for me personally about this camera is that whilst you have a tilt function of the screen, so it will tilt up like so, which makes it very possible to take low level photography. So you can have the camera on the ground, for example, and look down onto the LCD screen to compose a shot. What it doesn't do is rotate. So that is a bit limiting. It means that you can't, for example, take a selfie of yourself, or if you're wanting to take a group shot, you can't actually see your composition if you're standing in front of the camera. So do be aware of that. It is a little bit limiting. If you wanted to use this camera, for example, to create videos where you're talking to the camera, you would have to connect it to a computer so that you can see that you are in frame and all that kind of thing. So something to consider there. Down the side, you've got all your buttons, your menu button, your white balance, your quality, your zoom, etc., your ISO settings to change ISO, and your info buttons. Again, I'm not going to go into too much detail here about all the buttons and functions on the camera, but if you do want to know anything specific about the D750, please do comment below, and as I say, I will do my best to answer that in future videos for you. And then your connections here. You have your mic input if you want an external mic, and headphones, your HDMI connection where you can connect to your computer, etc. And it has a built-in flash. So, okay, typically it's not opening now. It's because I got it on video mode. 1 second. So you got your built-in flash there, which uses the TTL time to live function, so you have that option to use a built-in. I typically, if I'm doing portraiture work, etc., typically try to avoid using the on-camera flash, and it has got a hot shoe for you, as you can see, so that you can use the speed light, etc. I typically prefer to use speed lights where I can bounce the light off the ceiling or something else, so that it's not directly onto the subject, because flash, if not used correctly, can be overwhelming. So yeah, there we have it. That's the D750. It is, as I say, a workhorse of a camera, loved in the industry by wedding and event photographers. So yeah, I hope that's been informative. I hope it's given you some kind of idea of the capabilities of the camera. And again, as I say, if you've got any specific questions about the camera, please don't be afraid to comment below, and I'll do my best to answer it for you. As you can see, as I said before, the camera is in a well-used condition because I use it pretty much every day while I'm out and about exploring. It is a great camera. Until next time, be happy, be safe, and be kind. Cheers.